Hello, everyone. This is Den. Uh, we are ready for another group coaching, and I just finished writing the first, not the first tier list of the season, but the most interesting one so far, because the first one only had like 2 or 3 days, so things were still moving a lot. Now we're gonna have a little bit more clarity regarding the tier list. So I'll go through the decks. Feel free to stop me whenever you have a question, whenever you want to discuss a deck, etc. So, back in Tier 1, and alone in Tier 1 this week, is Destroy. Early in the season, I can actually pull the other one so we could compare both. So, early in the season, this card wasn't doing so well. It was much further. It was in Tier 2. I mean, everything was stacked, but it was much further. And to me, the reason was because one, when there are a lot of mirror matches, a deck tends to look more average than it really is. Because when you play mirror matches, naturally one loses and one wins, which means the deck win rate is 50% and the cube average is 0. So that's probably one of the things, because very early in the season, people trying to climb to infinite will play mostly proactive decks. And reason number 2 is the fact that Black Swan was pushing a lot of decks around 1 costs, and in an effort to protect them, people also were playing armor, which naturally hurt Destroy. The week progressed a little bit. A lot of people have started to say Black Swan isn't really a great card. We'll be able to discuss it. But there is less of armor. Those decks around Black Swan have mostly disappeared, and so suddenly Destroy is back in Tier 1. It was the only deck which crossed the 0.4 cube average over thousands of games. And to me, mostly the big thing that Destroy can do very, very well compared to a lot of other decks is the ability to snap on turn 1 and 2. It feels like at this point, if we go to the rankings, basically from Serra Control here, which I believe is number 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, to Destroy, which is number 1, all these decks are in 3 to 4% of a win rate difference. I think the top win rate, let me just check my notes so I don't say anything stupid. Top win rate is low-key tied with Inchinot at 58. Lowest is Ella at 52, but apart from Ella, everyone is at least at 54 or 55. So it's really hard to see a difference in all those decks. I mean, 2 to 3% in win rate is something, but I feel like unless you really are dominant in that category, and in the past we have seen decks reach like 60%, 62, 63%, it's really about leveraging your snaps. And Destroy is really good at leveraging its snaps, because if you have Deadpool in your hand, you could already think about it. And if you have Deadpool plus X23 or like a couple of Destroys, you can often just snap on turn 1. And what's going to happen if you snap on turn 1 is option number 1, your opponent leaves. You just got a cube for 1 or 0 turns, which is kind of ideal, because if we assume like we get 1 cube per turn, the only way you beat 1 cube on turn 1 is 8 cubes on turn 6. So it's about the best ratio you could ask for, playing 1 turn for 1 cube. And the second option is they stay in the game, but the reason you snapped is you had a good hand, so you might win some, lose some, but overall, like you shouldn't lose cubes over large sample sizes when you snap with a great hand. Like, you might be punished a couple of times, but if we look at Destroy's win rate, even if it's just like 54 or 55%, I mean, over hundreds of games, if you have 55% of games worth 4 cubes, let's say, that's still gonna equal like something like 50 cubes. So in that context, decks which are able to snap early and which are difficult to punish when they snap are ideal, and Destroy is really good at that. And another thing that Destroy is doing this week is that the 2 cards that he used the most as the 12th card is basically Destroy as kind of a basic 12, which usually it's Deathlock instead of Alioth. But lately, it's Deathlock, which has started to be removed instead of Hulkbuster. For some reason, like, they nerfed the card, but it's even more played than it was before. The deck was playing a lot of Alioth and Shang-Chi, and that really helped the deck win rate. Number one, because Alioth gives the deck a surprising ability. With X23, for example, you can drop a Null, you can drop like a Venom plus something else on turn 5, and you're able to protect them with Alioth on turn 6, as a lot of people think they can just Shang-Chi your big card, and you Alioth them, so you win that lane. Or similarly, you have a chance against other decks which have a higher points potential than you do, and think they're just going to beat you on points, while you have Alioth to kind of surprise them, which is different from other decks. Like if we go to another deck with Alioth, Loki will talk about the surprise element, but let's take Lockdown. If you're, let's say, I don't know, Ongoing Tribunal, if you're a Mr. Negative deck and Lockdown snaps you and they have priority, you're naturally going to think about Alioth and you're going to ask yourself, can I beat it or should I retreat? You're much less likely to ask that question against Destroy. So when a strong deck, which has the ability to snap early, also has the ability to kind of surprise their opponent immediately, it does extremely well. We have Ella, which is in a very similar situation to Destroy, except it has a weaker win rate. It's the weakest win rate on the tier list this week amongst the, I think we have 12 decks total. It was at 52%. But the cube weight was really good. It was about like 0.35, which is honestly great for a 52% deck. The problem with Ella is that it's not really a flexible deck at all. Like, you're not going to see Ella play Alioth. You're not going to see Ella play Shang-Chi or these kind of cards. So I would say the difference between Ella and Destroy is that Destroy is slightly more flexible in the deck building department, but they kind of have the same opportunity to snap early in the game, because one has Deadpool, the other one has Lockjaw, or they have Ella, because it's very unlikely you lose Ella with Blade and Lady Sif as your targeted discard. Alright, moving on. So these are the two proactive decks, and I'll come back to it later, but playing proactively historically is better early in the season. Number one, it's stronger against bots, but we're not going to talk about bots because, I mean, I'm not going to coach you to beat bots. I hope you're able to do that on your own. But even without bots, because the first tier list, like the one after 3 days, I had to use data which included bots because I didn't have enough data, but this one is only infinite data, so there's no bots included in this, and Deadpool and Ella are still at the top of the rankings, showing these two are still able to produce, and they just didn't farm only bots. They're also able to just beat humans. Loki is making a big comeback for 2 reasons. Number one, it's benefited quite a lot from the changes. This is a well-performing list. I think it was a list which Lemmy Series popularized last month, and it's usually the one that pops up because it's one that people often go back to. But mostly, if we look at the rankings, you can see that, where is it? So there's one good cards deck here, one good cards deck here. Terra Control is kind of good cards, but with reactive cards. Mostly good cards here. Where is the other one? Lockdown is also a Zabu deck. Well, basically, apart from Loki, I think there are 4 more Zabu decks currently on the rankings, and if we add all of them up, they add to like at least 20% of the metagame. And so that makes Loki very, very reliable meaning you can often use your own Zabu on turn 2, and it's going to be really good even with your opponent's cards because it's going to discount it. The second reason why Loki is really, really good, and we'll look at it as we go further down the list, is that Mobius has disappeared a bit. Last season, at the end of last season, there was a lot of Mobius. And at the start of this season, there is not that much Mobius. So naturally, Loki benefited from it, and the deck right after Loki, which is Inchinaut, is the other deck that gets... Well, this one gets completely shut down by Mobius. Loki doesn't get shut down, it just has to play Rogue. And if we look at the top 3 lists for Loki this week, only one is playing Rogue, one is playing Armor, which is probably for a Destroy matchup, and not the best one, but the most popular one was just playing some good cards. But basically, Loki and Inchinaut are telling us there's less of Mobius in the metagame, so we can start playing energy cheating strategies once again. Serra is kind of the exception. Serra Control has posted pretty bad stats, which I didn't expect because a lot of creators are saying the deck is the absolute nuts right now. But I would probably attribute this to Supergiant being really good against Serra when it's not that good against Loki or Inchinaut. Well, it's good against Leech, but that's about it. Then we're getting into the decks which are like... They're clearly a notch below. I would say like Destroy is above everyone else, especially in the Cube Raid category. Then we have like Ella, Loki, Inchinaut, which are the decks that are not really countered in the metagame, and they can do their thing reliably, and the tech cards aren't adapted against them right now. And then we have kind of the decks that are trying to counter these, or which need the disruptive cards to work. Like, if it was just a battle of points, they wouldn't be good enough, so they need to use disruptive cards to compete. And either because it's the start of the season, they haven't adapted yet, or because there's too much diversity, you just can't counter everyone. So it's a little difficult. In the first group, Lockdown would be really, really good against Ella, mostly because when you Storm, you then have a 50-50 on where they play Ella, and if you alliate their Ella, you're most of the time going to win. You also have kind of the lucky pool of Storm. If you play Storm on turn 3 and you hit the lane where they also play Lockjaw, you can often steal that lane from them, because unless they get a really big pull, like unless they get a Giganto or an Infinite, you can often have like Miss Marvel, Doctor Doom support that lane. You can move Vision there, so you're able to beat like a 12. If it gets to a 14 or a 20, it's a little bit more difficult, but you should be able to beat a 12. So this is the basic list of Lockdown, and this is the one that worked the best. But there are 2 other lists for Lockdown, particularly around Supergiant. So this one is the Lockdown list that worked the best in Conquest. The big difference is Iceman, a card that is really, really good if you're using a Supergiant build, because Iceman is really good for priority in general. And this one is the list with like around Supergiant. I haven't tested Absorbing Man in Lockdown. I have tested it in other decks, so I don't know how much of this like makes sense. It definitely makes sense from a surprising your opponent standpoint and keeping them in the dark, because not many people expect Absorbing Man, and you can have like some Supergiant into Absorbing Man, and then you can pick either Aliath or Doctor Doom. So the list is definitely like, it makes sense from a deck building standpoint. The question is how good it is to be more proactive, because as you can see, there is no Shang-Chi, there is well, there's still, so it's only Shang-Chi in the end, so I don't know how much that removes, but that makes the deck much, much more proactive, and I don't know if Lockdown has enough points to be that, but that list did well, so I don't really know where it came from. I just found it on the various deck trackers, but that might be a new way for Lockdown to like be built in the future. Then we have the good cards archetypes. So I split the hammer one with the junk one, mostly because for some reason The hammer one has a weaker win rate, but a much better cube rate, which makes it a better ladder deck, while the junk one has a better win rate and a weaker cube rate, which makes it a better conquest deck. However, both lists are kind of similar. The only difference is one is using what I call the hammer package, which is Thor, Jane Foster, and Beta Ray Bill. This one also uses Odin, because apart from Zabu, Jeff, and Miss Marvel, every card in the deck is good with Odin. I mean, you can shuffle more rocks, you can re-trigger a hammer if the opponent plays Wave, or you have a location that helps you do this. You can re-trigger a Thor or Beta Ray Bill to get more hammers in your deck, etc., etc. And the other good card is basically remove the hammers, and instead you get Hood, Sentry, Annihilus, Alioth, and for some reason they cut Spider-Ham and instead is Black Widow. But that's basically the difference. The other difference is Shadow King instead of Miss Marvel, which to me makes sense because the hammer list has much more potential points-wise. I mean, Beta Ray Bill can go through a 24, which can beat like Hela, which can beat Destroy on points, while it's extremely rare your Darkhawk is gonna grow to a 24, except against like a Thanos that didn't get Blob. So I would say overall, the choice between the two lists is play the hammer one if you like to be more proactive and focus on yourself. Play the junk one if you're more about countering your opponent, trying to disrupt them. And I would say like this one probably requires you to know your opponent a little better. But if you see a lot of Lockjaw, particularly Ella, the Darkhawk package can be extremely good, because whenever Lockjaw pulls a rock, well, I mean, this is Lockjaw pulling a rock. Most people would just snap it. There's the third way to build around the Darkhawk one, which is no support package and just play more good cards, which is Leech, Miss Marvel, and the Disruption. This one was the worst of the three, but it wasn't far enough for me to just say don't play this one. Personally, I would think this one is the one to avoid, not because it's worse than the other one, but I would say like this one is the non-committal one. Like it's kind of a middle ground between full-on disruption and full-on points. And I think if you know yourself as a player, or if you know which deck you're supposed to beat, you should be able to pick one of the two. And if you can't pick, you kind of have the middle ground in it. Then we have Bounce, and Bounce is really interesting because there has been a lot of noise around Bounce, mostly because it was kind of the Black Swan archetype for the first week. Unfortunately, the best lists around Black Swan, the best list around Bounce aren't using Black Swan anymore. They're using kind of a control core. And this is also what tells me that the Sarah control deck is annoyed by Supergiant, because Sarah specifically cannot be played against Supergiant. Because we see Shang-Chi, Enchantress, and all these cards plus Zabu in a ton of archetypes, and that's usually the best way to build the archetypes, at least on a large scale of games. So I don't think it's reactive decks have a problem. It's really, I think, Sarah right now isn't necessarily a good option. But otherwise, this is just very similar to Sarah Control, which is build an explosive turn 6 and then decide, are you going for points or are you going for counter card with Enchantress and Shang-Chi. There is a more proactive list, which remove Sentry and Annihilus and instead has Hitmonkey and Black Swan. Both lists, once again, are really close. There isn't that much of a difference. Once again, I would probably make the same parallel as I made with the good cards archetype. If you're more about answering your opponent and you feel more comfortable this way, play this one. If you want to focus on yourself and you think you can kind of navigate the combos in the deck and you can regularly beat Destroy or Ella on points, then you probably want to pick this one. Although, I mean, there's Shang-Chi and Enchantress in both. To me, this one is probably better against Destroy, while this one is probably better against Ella. The reason is Ella will always lets you annihilate them because they always have space, while Destroy will rarely lets you annihilate them because you just expect them to eat your Void and Hood. Well, Hood is just gonna get killed by Killmonger, but that's basically the tiebreaker. In the other matchups so far, it's hard to find a difference. I would tend to favor this one because we're starting to see a lot of Alioth in the metagame. Like, if we go back to the other decks, Good Course Junk is playing Alioth. It was in Lockdown. Destroy is using it. Loki can also use it. So overall, I think playing like the full-on combo lists right now can be a little scary. Also, as some lists are also playing Cosmo, which is Inchinata and Loki, I believe. Yeah, Inchinata started playing Cosmo again, and I think there was a list of Loki which also had Cosmo. Where's Loki? Oh, he's above Inchinata. And yeah, there's that list. I think it comes from Spyro. Wait, there's no Cosmo? Oh, I thought there was Cosmo in this one. Maybe it was changed. Okay, my bad. I thought there was Cosmo in Loki for some. Or maybe it was in their tweet, but in the data it was slightly different. And then we get into your tree. So we kind of already discussed Sarah control. I don't think the deck is bad. I think the deck is doing some good things, but just what it's good at doing, other decks just took it and did it better because they're not as weak to Alioth, because they're not as weak to Supergiant, because they're not as weak to Cosmo. Basically, like, there's more proactive disruption in the metagame, which makes Sarah a little worse. As for Thanos Lockjaw, there are two ways to look at it. Number one, maybe Black Swan just make the deck worse, and we should remove it and throw Mobius back in it, which was the card before Black Swan came out. And back then, Thanos Lockjaw was high in tier 2, almost competing for tier 1. Second possibility, it's less reliable than Ella. I mean, it's a Lockjaw deck. There's Leech, there's Shang-Chi. Like, there's a lot of things that we see in other decks and which are working very well. And I mean, Thanos isn't that far from the other decks. Like, the difference between Thanos and Bounce, for example, which people think they're incredibly different because they're not in the same tier. But if I just have the numbers, Bounce is at 0.3 cube average and 55% win rate, while Thanos is at 0.2 cube average and 53% win rate. It's slightly worse than it, but if you're much stronger at playing Thanos than playing Bounce, I'm pretty sure you can reverse those numbers quite easily. However, the one thing I would say is that probably early in the season, there could have been a lot of good cards. At least good cards was really, really popular. And currently, where is it? Because there's the Rock synergy, it annoys Lockjaw naturally, and Blob stopping at 15 doesn't cancel Darkhawk as much as it did in the past. So the good cards matchup is better than it was in the past. And points-wise, except if you get Leech, most of the time, Destroy and Hela will find a way to beat you. Especially since Destroy is playing Alioth, because it makes Shang-Chi a little worse, and you're still like kind of not being able to play Shang-Chi against Ella, because usually you will have priority against them, so the big guys are not out yet. And that is about the metagame. I hope I didn't speak too fast and you could understand. There's Thanos Zoo and Discord Dracula, which are kind of doing their thing. Thanos Zoo is picking up momentum because Armor and Cosmo are good against Destroy. And Discord Dracula was popular because of Ellie Carrier getting buffed, but he wasn't particularly stellar. It was good, but nothing incredible. A few decks that we can discuss, but we'll do it after. If you have any questions about this tier list are the silent performers. Are there any questions, any decks you want me to discuss further, or anything of the sort?
Everything worked out for me. I understand.
Not for long, are we good?
Yeah, we're good. This makes sense, and this is pretty close to what I'm seeing as well.
Great. So, silent performers, 3 decks which all have their upsides. And I'm pretty sure none of these decks would work if they became popular, but as long as they're like hidden in the dark, they look really good. The first one is Negative Destroy. This deck doesn't make sense from a Mr. Negative standpoint, but if you see a lot of destroys, this farms it. This is literally just a Mr. Negative deck that plays mostly around Null and Arnim Zola Null, which is something Destroy can barely do anything against. And considering Destroy has been one of the most popular decks in the game for almost a month now, this deck just sees Destroy, snaps against it, or waits for them to snap and then snaps back, and you just feed your cube rate on it. While you still have the opportunity to steal a few games whenever you go Ravona into snap Mr. Negative, and they just leave, and you get like a cube or two. So overall, this deck is looking really good in the current metagame. The problem is, first, I think if it becomes famous, it probably won't work anymore. Second thing we need to be cautious about is Cosmo starting to be a little bit more popular lately. And third thing, obviously, if Destroy was to be nerfed again, if we consider Hulkbuster to be a first nerf, and become less popular, considering this deck just tries to abuse it, it probably will disappear as a result. Deck number 2 is just a super giant deck where we just slam big boys. And to me, this deck works because it's highly unpredictable and people have no idea what you're doing. But the goal is just play points, super giant, high taskmaster, play Gigantor and Blob, and the opponent just had no idea what you were doing, stayed in the game, and steal it this way. I mean, I've tested the deck for curiosity, and yeah, when you go Nebula into Ravona or Zabu, into Dracula, into Supergiant, Taskmaster, and then either Blob or Giganto, that has kind of a Shuri Sauron feeling to it. Except Shuri Sauron was telling you what he was doing, and this one hides it with Supergiant. But kind of the same thing. What's powerful about this deck is Supergiant hides what you're really trying to do, and because you're playing cards like Nebula, Zabu, and Ravona, the opponent can't really guess what cards you're going to play next, because these are just cards that are generally solid in the metagame. If this deck was to become popular and people knew what was coming, I'm pretty sure this deck would crumble. But until people figure it out, it's all good. And the last one is... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just said hello.
Hello, Bishop. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Cool. And the last one is Cerebro 5. So in the rankings, Cerebro 5 would be the weakest one of the silent performers. But considering Supergiant is a 5, and they got Omega Red played, buffed as well, the deck also probably benefits from being quite surprising. And Cerebro 5 still has the huge upside of being able to play Enchantress. So my best guess is, once again, this one I tried it a little bit more, and honestly, it's really, really fun to go Supergiant into Cerebro Titania Mortier, because there's no chance in hell your opponent guesses what are the hidden cards. And most of the time, when they see 3 cards, it's hard for them to first guess what they are, and especially to guess how much power you just played, because Cerebro, Mortier, and Titania are 14 power, but they also don't know if you're Cerebro 5 or not, because they haven't seen Mortier or Titania, And if they've seen like Medusa, Silk, they could think you're lockdown. And if you showed them like Polaris, Spider-Man plus Silk, they could just think you're move. So when Supergiant comes down, they have enough information to guess Cerebro 5, but so far, not many people have guessed it. Because once again, the cards you're showing them are not cards that are like very committed to an archetype, or they're committed to another archetype. Like Medusa is committed to lockdown, Silk is committed to move, Polaris is junk, but I mean, I've seen Sarah decks play Polaris instead of Gladiator. Spider-Man tells them move. So sometimes if you show them like Medusa and Spider-Man, they can think something is up because Medusa and Spider-Man don't really go together. But let's say you're playing 3 Infinite, there's also a chance that if you go Medusa Spider-Man, the opponent's like, oh my god, it's a bot. So for now, I would say all 3 decks are benefiting quite a lot from being difficult to recognize because their early game is very close to other archetypes. As usual with the silent performers, the importance to see how they're doing on the long run, or just abuse them for a couple of days, and once you start noticing people play better against you, just move on to another deck. The only deck I didn't discuss in the silent performers is the Galactus Junk deck, because it was already a deck that was in the tier list for a few weeks. It just lost popularity and went from being ranked to being a silent performer, but that's just regular Galactus that changed absolutely nothing about its list. Any questions on the silent performers?
So can you just show me the? Just go back to the Omega Red deck.
Oh, this one?
Yeah. What was the? You were saying that it's.
Oh, Omega Red? So this one.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yes, I've seen. Oh, that's the C5. Yeah, I've seen that one a couple times, and I've seen a few other Omega Red style plays, stacking plays.
Oh, I mean,
Okay. And then what's the one with the?
Omega Red is a metagame card now. Like, Omega Red is played in... Some people are playing it in Loki, some people are playing it in Lockdown. I mean, Zabu is one of the most played cards in the game. If you're a good forecast, you're seeing play.
What's the Shuri deck?
It's not a Shui deck. It's a deck that
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not.
feels like... What I was saying is, it feels like you're playing a Shuri deck, because that's kind of the same gameplay of, I'm gonna slam points in your face. Except instead of Shuri, you're playing Supergiant, which hides it instead of making too big to counter numbers. But yeah, like with this one, basically the idea is you go Nebula into Zabu or Ravonna, into Dracula, Supergiant, Taskmaster, Blob, or Giganto. And whenever you do this, the opponent has no freaking clue what he's facing because you showed Nebula, Zabu, or Ravonna. Well, if you go Nebula, Zabu, Dracula, maybe they're like, oh my god, that's a weird discard Dracula deck. But if you go Nebula, Ravonna, Dracula, are you an even weirder discard Dracula, or just like, I don't know. And then you drop Supergiant, so the discard Dracula part is out the window. Unless they think you hid MODOK behind that card, and so you're even happier. But yeah, like the whole strength of this deck is it develops a lot of points, and your opponent has no idea about it.
So.
Alright, so if we were to look at the tier list from earlier in the season, we can notice a few things. So first, Destroy jumped back to tier 1. I could see 2 reasons for it. Reason number 1, 2 or 3 days after the start of the season, a lot of people which are going to end up in the top infinite ranks at the end of the season, which are the ones which it's the most difficult to play Destroy against, because they know when to retreat, they know more of the intricacies to beat it. They're still not infinite yet, so they could be paired against weaker players in a way, or like people which are more inclined to play Destroy. I mean, in the top 500 or the top 1k infinite ranks, there is much less of Destroy compared to the other ranks or like the 90s ranks. So that could make Look Destroy like a little bit weaker because it plays in a higher environment. Like the tier list isn't representative of what happens at the very top of the ladder, simply because most players don't play at the very top of the ladder. So I just made the decision to make it like useful for as many people as possible, rather than just say, here are the decks the top 100 players are using right now, except you can't use them because you need like 4 days of play to learn any of those decks. We can see that there was a lot of good cards already, and it still is. There was good cards here, good cards here, good cards here. Lockdown. I mean, it's called Lockdown, but it's really a good cards deck with a lockdown mechanic. Bounce was already there, but Bounce changed quite a bit if we compare it to last week. Last week it was the full-on, really, really good list. And in our deck tracker, it's still doing extremely well. But when I opened to a little bit more and I started discussing with players which tested Bounce, most people agreed that Mysterio and Werewolf don't really work together, and that this deck was really, really good the early days because Black Swan wasn't really known, etc. But now that people kind of know or have a rough idea of how many points you can develop, you kind of need a Shang-Chi and Enchantress. The question is, does Bounce needs to keep reinventing himself and keeps being surprising to exist? Or is just that the list is better with reactive cards? I guess we'll know with more data. Thanos Lockjaw took quite a fall. But if we look at the list from the early days, this is why I was wondering whether Black Swan was good or not, because this is literally the same list from last season, and he was doing really, really well early in the season. So either the metagame changed and Thanos isn't as good, or some lists got popular and made Thanos worse. I can't really answer that one yet, but something happened because when I did the tier list on Thursday, Thanos Lockjaw was looking like a really great deck. Now it doesn't. We'll see where it stands soon, and it gets Cold Obsidian very soon, so maybe it'll get a big buff. Ella Lockjaw was pretty much where it already was. And then good cards, which was extremely good. And in our tracker, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, 63% and 76 cube rate over 2,000 games is it's Shuri Soran kind of level when the deck was at its peak. But for some reason, in the other deck trackers, the deck wasn't doing as good, so I had to balance it out. But it's still the best way to play good cards, except if you consider Loki to be a good card. And I think this deck should stay, even if it kind of took a bit of a drop towards the end of the week, because it's really simple. And there's kind of everything in it. So you have Disruption with Spider-Ham and Shang-Chi, but you can focus on yourself with like Korg Rock Slide, Thor, Beta Ray Bill, Odin works with everything. And from the limited tested I could put on it, if you decide to just focus on 2 lanes, it feels like you can beat a Hela or a Destroy deck. Like, if you go Korg into Zabu, into Thor, into Beta Ray Bill, and then your turn 5 is like either Jane Foster or even like Darkhawk, Spider-Ham, these kind of things, and you just play everything on 2 lanes, you should be able to get like a solid 25 on both lanes, which often can be enough to beat a Hela deck, which has like its point spread because they don't really decide where they end up. And also, I think Spider-Ham is really, really good in the current metagame because, I mean, we already discussed it in a previous coaching session. When everyone is kind of close in terms of performance, we want to find a way to snap, and Spider-Ham because compared to an Iceman or these kind of cards tells you what it hits, there are certain decks where you're like, oh, I hit Ella, okay, snap. Oh, I hit Null, snap. There's a lot of these cases, and if we go through all the decks, I feel like Spider-Ham has a good target. Like here, you hit Null, Aliot, Death, you're happy. And sometimes you hit like Venom, Carnage, that's one less destroy. Here you hit Ella or Lockjaw, that's basically a snap. You can hit Loki, you can, well, it's really Loki. The other cards are difficult to snap because they can replace everything else, basically. But when you hit Loki, you have it. Inchinot, if you touch She-Hulk, it's really, really good. If you touch Leech, it's really, really good. If you touch the Infinite, you should run for your life. Lockdown, Alias, great target. Doctor Doom, great target. Miss Marvel is really difficult for them to come back from it as well. Storm is a pretty decent target as well. Hammer, I mean, almost everything is a good target because every card in this deck is played for its ability. I mean, Jeff probably is the worst one. You hit Zabu on turn 1, you can snap. You hit Darkhawk, you can snap. I probably wouldn't snap if I hit like Thor, Beta Ray Bill, or Odin. But sometimes if you hit Jane Foster... Jane Foster is still a 5/8. But let's say if you hit like Zabu, Darkhawk, it's probably worth a snap. And depending on how the game goes, if you see they don't have like a good curve and they're like forced to play the pig, and it was like a Thor, a Beta Ray Bill, or a Jane Foster, that probably means they don't have the other part of their deck, and you could snap based on this. Junk, you can snap if you hit Annihilus, Alias, Darkhawk. Here, same thing. I mean, Leech, Doctor Doom, Darkhawk, etc. It's always the same card. I mean, here you hit Annihilus, you hit Werewolf, you hit Beast, you hit Zabu. Same cards, hit Monkey. These are all good. Lockjaw is a great one. Dinosaur is a great one. Scar stops being discounted. Blob, you can snap and dance at the same time. That's a pretty cool thing to do. Sarah Control, same thing. I mean, except for Maximus, which is, and Gladiator. But all the other cards are good to snap against. And these two, I mean, same thing. So yeah, I think overall, I think Spider-Ham is an incredible card right now. And might be one of the best one costs in the game. So this is another reason why I think like a deck with Spider-Ham currently, like, which can run it naturally. I'm not saying like play Spider-Ham in Ella, although there's Lockjaw in that deck, so why not? But yeah, I feel like there are a few cards like this one, not that many, but there are a few, which if the deck is able to run them and it doesn't actually like change their game plan, or it doesn't mean you have to stop playing another card, that is going to be a great way to just trigger a few snaps. I am done talking. So, questions or move on to gameplay?
Gameplay. I'm okay with questions.
All right. So, today we can do a few different things. So, we can work on one archetype, which has different ways to be built, and try to figure it out. For example, Loki has 3 different lists. Lockdown also has different lists. Get cards also has different lists, so we could make it like dedicated to testing the different variants of an archetype and try to see which list is better. We could work on the silent performers and see like why are these decks good, and try to kind of work on more like the snap mechanic and trying to surprise the opponent. Mostly work on our opponent's point of view, try to see what they can think based on the information we revealed. Or another thing that could be interesting, it could be to test decks like Sarah Control, Thanos Lockjaw, see if they really feel as bad as their ranking indicates, which shouldn't be that bad in reality, because we already discussed that there's really like not that big of a difference between high tier 3 and low tier 2 right now. I mean, they're like only 12 decks, so Serra Control and Thanos Lockjaw are still top 10 in the game at this point. What does everyone feel? What is the most appealing to you guys?
I guess personally, I've been, I hit 94 with the deck that I've been playing, and I've started to run into some of the new stuff. And I I'd love to get some thoughts on.
Of course.
I have some ideas on what I could do on my deck and what I could go with. And I was kind of looking at what you've been putting out to see if I can see some naturally incorporating cards into that. But so that's kind of what I was looking at. So for me myself.
Okay. As for the Judah and Not For Long, is there something that you want to work on specifically?
Nothing specific here. I'm up for trying anything.
Okay.
Same,
Sorry, Judah, I didn't hear you.
same here. I'm up for anything.
All right, then let's start with Bishop's deck, and then we'll just see what comes up. Can you either share your screen or send a picture of it so I can put it on my screen?
No, 1 second. I can do that. I'm just checking I have this funny feeling that I didn't update Snap. Yeah, so I have to do that.
Well,
But I can
updated Snap. When is the last time you played?
on my tablet. I've been playing on my phone. But I can put the list up in the Discord. Give me a second.
Put it in the group coaching, and I just can put it on the screen so we can discuss it.
I'm working on it right
now. What could be interesting if you guys are just up for anything? Does one of you disagree with the ranking of a deck? Like, strongly disagree? Like, is there a deck that we could debate about and see, like, why it's ranked here? Why do you disagree? Maybe play a few games, try to see if maybe, like, some decks are just one card away from being really good, or you disagree with the way they're built, or something like that?
I would just like to see the Destroy and Alliance. I just never seen it. That's it.
Sorry, what? You disagree with Alliance and Destroy?
No, I would like to try it just to see how it feels and everything.
Of course. Okay, so Judah plays Destroy with Alliance.
You guys can start with that while I get set up, because it's going to take me a couple more seconds.
Sure. Then let's play a few games of Destroy with Alliance in it, and then Bishop gets set. Not For Long, is there a deck that in the list kind of shocks you from where it is, or one that is not included, and you're like, but that deck is so good, and something like that?
No, I just...
Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. Go for it. No.
I mean, I'm interested in the Good Cards Hammer. It's kind of... I haven't seen anyone else play it, and so curious. I haven't really seen any Darkhawk this season. That was kind of the only archetype that was kind of missing from what I've been playing against.
Okay. Well, then we can give this to you. Can you just copy it, or do you want me to send you a picture or something like that?
If you just leave it up for a second, I can just copy it real quick.
Okay.
So, again, I posted my deck in the group chat section.
Yep. Well, we'll start with a couple of Destroy games.
Yep.
Then move on to your deck, and then finish with the Good Cards Hammer.
That's totally fine.
Bang. This should be Judai's screen. Are you messing with me, Discord? Right? It's working, Judah. It just, for some reason, I tried to use a pop-up and it didn't work. Stop watching. Okay, Judah, you're still with us?
Yeah.
Can other people see his screen, or is it loading for you as well?
I can see his screen.
Oh, then it's on me. All right, let me get out and reconnect. Stream. Okay, I can see it. What if I do this? All right, we got it. Okay, Judah. Up to you.
is the correct list, right?
Yes. Ooh, we're gonna get to infinite. Nice. Well, I don't know if we're gonna get 6 ranks in like 20 minutes. That would be pretty nuts.
AQ, where's all day? Oh, there we go.
Right?
So, Nico is the best, right? Or not? I already drew
That's
two.
the best spell
Maybe.
you can get on Nico with this deck.
Yeah.
But well, you can still forge afterwards. That works. You could Nico into Deadpool Forge into hope you got Carnage on the 2 cards you draw, so then you can Deadpool Carnage.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, Battle of the Destroys.
Ooh.
In 30 seconds.
So, do you want to forge?
Well, it doesn't really matter. Like the question is, do you want eat your Nico as well? But because there's TVA, I think I want to keep that Nico because it's challenging a location.
Okay.
So I would actually
Just-
forge to the right in case it's an unplayable one. Because the only way this game lasts less than 4 turns, well, more than 4 turns, if they use their Nico to change the location. Okay, question. You're in Destroy match, and you had Deadpool. They didn't.
want to snap right now?
I don't know. Because you don't have a way to destroy it. That's the only problem.
Yeah, that's true.
But you could... Huh. So we have to assume the game is going to end next turn. So how do we develop the most points?
Maybe something like this. Well, I'm afraid he has Killmonger as well, which will destroy my 1 cost and probably turn 4.
Yeah. Personally, I would go X-23 Wolverine. Because Killmonger does nothing together. You want to Venom them to next turn.
Yeah.
Okay. Then not together.
Hmm. We want a Hulkbuster and then Carnage, right?
Well, this is where it's kind of a shame that we didn't play them together because our Carnage would have been great, but yes, I mean it's either that or Venom Deadpool. So I don't think we're gonna beat that. Oh no, we're definitely not winning. Oh yeah, we're not.
No, I said.
Oh, we almost one left.
Hulkbuster, that's what no.
Hulkbuster left would have won it, but we were never gonna Hulkbuster Nico. Take your time when we're playing, like so we can check at the end screen and stuff like that. Like the goal is to learn, not to farm.
Okay.
Yeah, the fact that they had X-23 earlier than us gave them +1 energy for every turn, which in the end was much better than having Deadpool because we couldn't like get the ball rolling on Deadpool over just 4 turns. Well, it's mostly because we didn't get Carnage.
Deadpool right away, or
I would Wolverine. You don't have any, except if you draw Carnage, then Deadpool is slightly better. Otherwise, Wolverine is better because he can bait the armors and stuff like that.
So I will forge in Deadpool because I have Killmonger.
Yes. But then you have to place them well so you're protected from armor. There's a way to place that protects you from armor.
Venom all the way to the right.
No, Forge left, Deadpool middle. Because if they have armor, they probably want to play it left because this is where you place Wolverine. But because you're going to play Killmonger next turn, it doesn't matter. That's an annoying location.
Not if you play Legion.
Huh.
So Killmonger middle. That way we still win a location.
Well, you can still Killmonger right.
Yes.
Or you just don't give them 2 points on their Nebula.
Okay.
The question is, do you want to be greedy and Hulkbuster that Deadpool before you kill it? But because you could also go Hulkbuster X-23. You give them an extra turn to maybe play something. No, X-23 doesn't go in Wakanda.
No.
Play it left.
My mouse is like a little acting up.
Storm. Okay, we're cool. I would play Killmonger. Because Venom is useful to kill Wolverine. Killmonger isn't.
Okay, so Killmonger.
I mean, you could play Venom to get 9 points, but I honestly do not think you're going to win middle with 9 points against Lockdown.
Okay. So I mean, I added some points as well.
Oh, wow. What is that? Do we have any idea what we're playing against?
Honestly, I don't know. I probably I see it. I'm thinking like
No?
Silver Surfer, but maybe he just
Surfer with Wasp and Nebula? Okay.
or maybe what's the name? Patriot.
Okay.
So Deadpool, Venom left.
Yeah, there's Wakanda, so we can always play on the right anyways.
Thank you. Okay, I'm lost.
How do you lose this game from this point on?
I don't see a way losing.
Then why are we not snapping?
I feel like I run away either way.
You feel like you run away either way?
No, the person will run away. I don't know. Maybe this is a bot. I don't know.
I don't think this is a bot, but yeah.
No, for some reason my mouse isn't placing it right.
Oh, it's a Patriot deck.
Yeah, there you go.
They want to challenge you on the left.
Yeah, he's,
Nah, play. Wait, what? Oh,
not gonna destroy.
because there's Wakanda, but I think
Yeah.
you're better off with Def on the right. You can. What's the Nico? But
Just move it to the right.
oh wait, then the play is Nico right, Def middle. Nico right, Def left, so it goes to the middle. They're not gonna add 37 points to the left. I would be very surprised if they did. Yeah, They added 9 or 11. That's already good. Well, they stayed, so we got points. That's nice.
Yeah, like I would have run after I saw like what we did in turn 5.
Yes,
Like
indeed.
he clogged himself.
Yes. All right. Let's play a couple more, but please, like, focus on how to develop and where to place your cards, because it feels like you're kind of playing destroy more in a way like you just throw your cards and you're like, I just destroy them. I don't really care about it.
You got it.
But the strength of destroy is the fact that your most important card goes back to your hand every turn. That you can replay it, you can change the locations where you play it, etc., etc. This is a form of flexibility.
What do you want to skip? Just I don't want to play like.
I would play Wolverine there. Because like if you don't play Wolverine now, the question is, when are you gonna play it? Well, we drew the other card that wasn't playable in our deck, but
Yeah.
all right. So now wait, look at your deck. You have Alias, Null, Death in your hand. So what's the most expensive card in the deck if you remove these 3? No, not amongst these 3. If you remove them from the deck,
okay.
what's the most expensive one left?
Like out of these 3 right here,
No.
Elias. No.
In your deck, in the 6 cards that are left in your deck, what's the most expensive one?
Cost, right?
You just pass. You don't play Deadpool. Because everything that's left in your deck is a 3 cost.
Yeah.
That means you can play Deadpool with any of them, so you don't have to commit it.
Well, I'm getting 2 power with Nico, so
Yeah, you could play Nico.
yeah, right. Since everything's gonna turn left, right?
No, then left, so it goes to the middle. I mean, you won't be able to play in the middle.
So everything to the left, all the way to the middle.
It depends. Do you intend on destroying Deadpool or not? If
Yeah.
you intend on destroying Deadpool, you play to the right. If you don't, you play to the left and just try to win middle this way. This is why, like, I'm trying to have you focused on where are you going with your deck. Because right now it just feels like you're playing your cards and hoping for the best. No, there's a way to win the game. Every game, well, not every game is winnable, but there's a plan in every single game.
Damn.
For example, here there's a really good play.
What would that really good play be? You want to? Will you ally it the right, just in case he plays something?
Yeah. I mean, what do you want to do? Play a 0 power null? See? And that opens just Carnage to the right if you want it. Stuff like that. Okay, see, stop. You don't have to press and turn every... No.
No, I get you. I just put
But
like...
see, like the question is, do you want to play Old Buster before or after?
But I can't play...
You can play it before Carnage, for example. Because let's imagine... well, actually, Deadpool is going to go back in your hand, so that doesn't work. But... yeah, okay, it didn't matter. My idea was, imagine a card goes to the left, which could be Wolverine. Would you rather have a certain amount of cards, or would you rather have them together?
Wouldn't it be the same power regardless?
It is the same power, but in certain situations, for example, Shadow King, it's better to have them split.
Oh, okay, I get you then.
All right, Storm just gets back to the middle. But see here, for example, I'm pretty sure the only reason why we won is Aliath on turn 5.
Yeah.
So
He stopped the white tiger.
this was a terrible destroy game, but we won. And I feel like because you play so fast, you're sometimes missing on these opportunities. Because it feels like you're kind of playing solitaire when you're playing destroy. Well, the game is always played against someone. If your opponent passes every turn, you can pass every turn and play Deadpool on 6, and you're gonna win.
Yeah. I'll slow it down right now after this.
Good. Like, this is kind of the strength of these proactive decks, is the plays are fairly simple to figure out. Like, the cards that you're gonna play and the synergies aren't difficult to figure out. What's difficult is to make them ideal. Like, play around your opponent traps, play around the locations. Like, everyone knows how to play cards with destroy me written on it, and other cards saying I'm gonna destroy something written on it. What's difficult is being able to do it with an opponent trying to counter you, with locations that might work against you. This is what makes the difference from someone just playing destroy and someone playing destroy really well at the top level.
So X23 left.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like when we get this, I feel like this isn't bot right here.
Iceman? Iceman with a nice variant? Doubt it.
Let's not oversay that's a nice variant. Let's not make presumptions there.
So we at least power up the middle.
I would Forge Nico. I mean, your Nico becomes an 8 with Forge. And she also gets the buff from More Island.
Yeah.
Like, that makes a 10 power Nico. It's pretty good. Okay, that might be a bot.
I swear, like I've played bots, and I feel like this is the most like Iceman I've seen in bots in
Okay.
decks.
Maybe they changed them a little bit.
I mean, it could also be like C2, I guess. I'm not sure.
Well, C2 is in a terrible spot with this tool, with More Island and like Ella's.
Yeah.
Alright, what are we doing?
Power him up?
Sorry, what?
I mean, mid. Right here?
But what do why do you want a Wolverine middle?
No,
What's
Venom.
the location you're gonna destroy?
The middle.
No, I would destroy left. I would just play Wolverine left here. And next turn you just Deadpool Venom together.
Okay.
See, once again, here you're just trying to make the biggest location possible. My goal is not to just make points. My goal is to spread points so I can win the game. I already have a gigantic lead in the middle. We need to start working on another location.
Okay. I snap back to if you like.
Sure, just take your cubes against the bot.
null right to contest to win all locations.
But if we null,
I mean, we could also Deadpool, and then Killmonger.
if we Deadpool Killmonger, we kill 3, 5.
But-
Yeah, we get death for 0. So the next turn we
But
would
you don't want to lose that 12-point Nico or 13-point Nico?
well, it transfers to null.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, that's right.
This is why I was counting. As long as we can play Deadpool, Def, null next turn, you just drop null in the middle, and that Nico just transferred, and he wasn't lost.
That makes sense. I don't play a lot of destroy, but so I understand the thinking.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay.
And good job on placing the Rock and Deadpool on the right, so we get the bonuses, which makes null even bigger. I don't know if it was intended, but that was well played.
It was.
Hobgoblin?
Oh, little Galactus patrol. I'm joking.
But it's not Galactus. And if you want to beat Galactus, Deadpool does it. But yeah, it's fine to go Def left, null middle, Deadpool right. That's perfectly fine. Alright, because this game is a win, I'll just move on to the conclusion of this. The reason why we the reason why we want to plan ahead with a proactive deck, it's because it's much more easy to know where we're going, because most of our actions depend on us. Like, you will do the same thing against almost every single opponent. At least, like, point A and point B are the same. Like, point A is small Deadpool and some cards that I get to destroy. Point B is big Deadpool, null Def. The question is, how do you get from point A to point B as reliably as possible? And I feel like the way you're playing Destroy right now, you're trying to build as many points as possible, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but your goal shouldn't just be to always aim for the maximum amount of points. You need to aim for the amount of points that guarantees you win the game, and which is the most, which is also guaranteed to happen. Because otherwise, this is a bot, so obviously they were not going to punish us for anything. But if you just always take the line that guarantees you the most points, you're predictable. So that means we know where to Shadow King you. We know where to Shang-Chi you. We know where to Aliath you. We know all these things because you just tell us. So it's important to merge both concepts of how do I develop enough to win the game, but once you are at this point, which is, all right, I think, let's say, I think a 20 power null wins me the game. Then, instead of getting your null from 20 to 50, which is the exact same thing, which is null wins a lane, you should focus on how do I win the second lane. Because if you win one lane by 50 and you lose the other two, you still lost the game.
Yeah.
So that's a little nuance that we need to work on in the future. All right. Bishop, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay.
Get out of there.
Let me just put your image up on my screen. I'll share my screen again. Screen left. I believe this is it. This is it. This is Bishop's deck. So, Bishop, tell us all about it.
So, there we go. So the basic concept is I've used this deck in previous ideas. It uses a uses the Quake move, kind of a Quake move package, right? So Silk and Maximus to develop priority, and Jeff Craven and Silk, of course, to develop points. Use Quake for some with the priority. Quake does a lot of little shenanigans based on location. You can storm Quake lock, so you storm in one direction and then Quake over, move, let them play into the storm location, and you Quake the lock over to the other side, so you can lock out one lane that way and still compete. And then Legion as well for shenanigans. For Supergiant and Alioth were added because once I understood how Supergiant worked, and someone explained why you could play it with Alioth, it's a brilliant addition to the deck. So you gain priority, you Supergiant, and then wherever they read their cards, you can decide where you want to Alioth. So you can Alioth on 6 into their cards that they've already played on 5. So they will, even if you don't have priority, you will still beat those cards. Or you can, of course, just Alioth for the win. You can also, with Supergiant, lay the Shang-Chi and waiting or Shadow King and waiting for points. Yesterday, originally I was running, in the rogue position, I was running Killmonger to help with Inchinat and a couple other of decks. But as I got into the 90s, I found myself struggling with Red Omega Red, excuse me. And so I tried pulling the Killmonger for a rogue to see if I could battle that, because I was starting to see a little more ongoing. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm not sure. I've been looking at some of the other things that are coming my way, and looking at some other ways that people are playing for priority. And so I've had thoughts of switching to a Zabu, Jessica Jones, maybe even now Omega Red, actually in this deck to increase the priority. So that's based on our earlier discussion is what I've been thinking as of right now, because I don't think this list is optimized. But I do think there's some good options there.
Okay, so first thing that pops in my head when you present this deck, which is kind of what pops in my head every time we talk about one of your decks, is I love the concept, but every time you tell me priority, I'm like, how in the hell does this deck seize in priority against anyone?
It actually does quite well with Silk. Silk steals a Silk on 2 into a lock on 3, the 3/4 tends to hold priority quite well. I play Maximus a lot earlier than I think you generally recommend.
Oh no,
but
I mean, in this deck,
that
you should play Maximus on turn 2 if you don't have Silk every single time.
Yeah. It's surprisingly, it's very effective. And if Maximus versus Quake, Maximus plus Quake on 4 for the lock, leaves Maximus almost always winning a lane by itself. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. I worry a little bit about how reactive the deck is in pieces, but and I've often, instead, as like I was running Killmonger, I would take Shang-Chi out for Enchantress, but I was trying this first, but I'm not sure if that's because Shang-Chi lies in wait a little bit more. But with the Supergiant, but I'm not sure that this is ideal. I just kind of got I got a little tilted yesterday when I fell from 94 down to like 92, and just kind of put it down for the night. So that's where I'm at. So
I think the first thing I would do with this deck is find a 1 cost. Like, it could be Nebula, could be Iceman, like a 1 cost that helps you for priority. Either helps in points, which would be Nebula, because just Nebula Storm is recognized as a good synergy. Iceman is also really good for priority. And in your lock deck, I mean, there are a lot of cards that if you touch them, like if you touch a 3 cost, they can't annoy your Storm, and if you touch a 4 cost, they can play it. Like, for example, you were saying you have a problem with Omega Red. Well, if you Iceman Omega Red, they can play it on the Storm lane at least. Which means they can't play it on the lane where you can't rogue it.
Okay.
Same for Miss Marvel, kind of things.
Okay. So I would have thought, my first thought would have been either like would have been the Nebula, and you're saying maybe Iceman over Nebula, or the other one, of course, when you were talking was Spider-Ham, because I was like, well, there's some flexibility there. It's only a 1/1, but it does do.
It
It gives me that
doesn't help
information.
it doesn't help with the priority thing, but yeah, but I
That
would
makes sense.
like I would rather like if I were to play Spider-Ham, I would remove like another disruptive card
Another
from
card.
it. Otherwise,
Okay.
there's a card that I know you like a lot, which is Echo.
Yeah, that was my other thought. Is last night I was thinking about instead of the Rogue, the Echo, just to like I'm going to control this lane,
And
so it doesn't really matter.
and Echo is really good with Supergiant. Because if you play Supergiant, and if you have a doubt they're an ongoing deck, you just on turn 6 you just play Echo in front of their card. If it's an ongoing, it's gonna cancel it.
Oh, I didn't think about it that way. Yeah, I could see that.
Like against Loki, a lot of the time on turn 5, if they play one single card, it's a Dino. You just Echo in front of it, and Dino's dead.
Right.
So yeah, I think in order to help priority, like the simple solution I see is Rogue becomes Echo. You keep the same team.
Yeah.
You just get a card with the same power with 2 less energy, and you get a 1 cost. Otherwise, if we're really about priority, I would look at cutting Shadow King or Shang-Chi and get some points in there. But I think already Rogue for Echo is something that could already like give you a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's pretty simple and still helps with the problem you've diagnosed.
Okay. Yeah, Shadow King, unfortunately, I find that Shadow King is like because of destroy.
Yeah, I'm
that
not against Shadow
really
King at all.
Yeah. So we can try it. I can try it this way. I mean, this is pretty much the same thing I was playing with, just trying out that flexible slot and seeing what else gets played.
But yeah, I think like if the Rogue into Echo fix doesn't work, then I would be looking at Shang-Chi becoming like an Omega Red, a Jessica Jones, like something that actually provides points after Storm.
Right.
But I think already, if you're willing to play sometimes like some of your disruptive cards proactively, like if you have a good Shadow King or a good Shang-Chi, you just don't wait for turn 6, you just slam them.
Right.
That could work.
I've been doing that, yeah, with Craven and stuff with Craven that works against move pretty well, and it works really well against some of the destroy cards, right? Before they can Venom, you just shrink everything back down. The other card that I know it fits the synergies, but I really question sometimes Craven sometimes seems to come out too slow and doesn't build enough. So I've wondered sometimes about just keeping Silk just for the power and switching Craven to something that also, like you said, that could be another.
You definitely could. Definitely could.
Build a strong
The
card.
other
So
thing, the other possible thing, I don't know if that's a good idea, but if you want it to be stronger on priority and a little bit more flexible, would be to play Nightcrawler instead of Jeff. Because Jeff, like great upside is you can play it wherever you want, but in your like unless you go turn 6 Shang-Chi Jeff, which means like you can play Jeff on the Storm lane. If you just play Jeff proactively and then you move it later in the match, then Nightcrawler is basically the same card, except it's cheaper.
Right.
And this is a metagame with 0 Professor X.
Right.
So yeah, these are two things that I could see where there are cards in the game which provide kind of the same utility to your deck, but they're cheaper, and usually cheaper means easier with priority.
So the other thought I had was Spider-Woman, because she plays so well with Supergiant. Since you just put her behind something, they play on 6, and then she comes down and she counters the full lane. But that would be like maybe you could possibly replace one of the, like either the Shang-Chi or the Shadow King with that. But that was it. I just think that card is probably, it just seems underutilized in this meta with Supergiant. It seems like the perfect card for Supergiant.
You could, but then maybe you want Daredevil?
Okay.
I'm not sure, but yeah, that could be a thing.
Okay.
All right.
So we can try it this way.
Let's play a couple games and see how it goes.
Sounds good.
All right, we're on your
You can see my
screen.
screen, okay?
We're
Okay,
on your
perfect.
screen. Amazes.
Okay, so we have Echo. Oh, good. Look at that. So we'll open with Jeff, unless we get... Oh, Silk. Let's open with Silk. There we go. Okay. So I guess it's Jeff this turn. Oh, Tribunal? That's all I can think about.
How many cards are in their deck? Because that could be a Thanos deck.
It's no,
Okay, so it's
it's
not a
only
Thanos
it's
deck.
only size. Yeah, not a Thanos deck.
Howard, Jeff, be a Black Swan kind of combo stuff, or maybe it's like yeah, Tribunal or like a Hella deck that wants Howard to go with or Lockjaw deck. Yeah, and they play Howard because they have Jubilee.
I think I want to Storm.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, I think I want to Storm middle.
There are reasons for it.
Well, I've already committed Jeff to the left, and they've committed their Jeff to the left. I guess that means, I guess the benefit of storming left means
Nah,
we
I
win
wouldn't
that
storm
lane.
left. Storm left is the one I wouldn't do. Middle or right. But no.
Run out of time. It seems like the clock's been running a little bit faster for me. I don't know.
No, I mean, your
Huh.
storm was middle. I don't know why you pulled it back while you were talking.
Opponent snapped.
I don't know now. I don't know if I should retreat.
You could, yeah. Just the fact that we missed the turn is annoying.
Yeah.
Escaped.
I think what I would have done is like Raven right, Shadow King left, something like that. Get their wave. But this could have been a Galactus deck. I think because you had Echo, that was okay. If we didn't miss that turn, that would have been great. But yeah, when like you're playing a card and we're discussing it, it's not because I
Just
talk
need
that I necessarily disagree with you. I'm just trying to pick up your brain and understand what you're thinking.
right.
So don't automatically pull it out.
Why would you storm right? I was just curious. Versus left. I mean, versus center. I was just curious if you had a reason. Okay, so 12 cards. Just echo. Hold the echo. Mojo. Okay. So they already full hand, so it's going to get them only one card. Although
Yeah, I like Max.
Jeff and Super Giant isn't too bad either, or Super Giant into Jeff isn't too bad. Okay, so it's destroy. Oh,
Oh, it's actually good against Destroy. They lose a turn. You probably want Craven to reveal before Silk. Because if you play Silk,
missed
next
that.
turn you Craven.
Yeah, it's going to be behind. It's going to be on 6.
Don't you
And the
want
question is, do we try and force the echo too?
Yeah, I would just play my energy. Like, I would crave an Echo Metal. You want priority, so... Maybe Echo Metal isn't good against Destroy because they can
So
Killmonger it. But that's a way to get priority.
and then, okay, we don't have Alioth, which would be nice.
Yeah, no.
Opponent snapped.
The way we win this, I
question is-
feel like, is
Well, we have a 33% chance of drawing Alioth before turns, well, 66% chance of drawing Alioth before turn 6.
that could be enough.
So I think so. So I think we're gonna do Supergiant middle,
Nah, left.
left, and
Because you don't need the cards to be revealed for Mojo World to count them. Like, look, you have 2 cards that aren't revealed and you're at 100.
no, Green Goblin.
Wait, Wolverine and,
Okay.
Green Goblin?
No,
Okay, that's not destroy.
no, it's Galactus. Oh, lucky them.
Oh, that's
Okay,
fun. So that
so-
doesn't work. Shadow King is gonna reset himself.
Yeah. So, well, Galactus can't come down on the right, so it has to come down onto the left, and so there's going to be a Hobgoblin somewhere.
Well, think about the fact that
Um,
cards are not revealed this turn.
Right. So we got to fill in the lane.
But you have time. You can do it next turn.
Yeah. So this turn,
There is a play that is great against Galactus here. And that's Legion middle.
Legion middle. Yeah.
Galactus doesn't want to play
Mojo-
cards. Galactus wants to send cards your way. So you're just like, all right, let's play all Mojo World and give me Hobgoblin. I don't care.
Right. Exactly. No, I hear you. I've won like that too. So Alioth left to kill the. Well, okay, that could be the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, that's the Hobgoblin. You're happy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a Mojo World.
So then Alioth right.
I'm not even sure I Alioth, to be honest.
Just play. We're gonna go first, so Silk is gonna get moved.
I would wait. Let's think about it.
We have time.
Yeah,
So Shadow King sets itself, and then we have Silk, Jeff, and Alioth.
I think we
Alioth
win
crushes
left.
it.
I want to play something middle, so we win middle.
I mean, then Alioth middle wins middle, right?
Yeah, we do that, and we win middle and left.
Yeah.
Who snapped? They or you?
They snapped.
Oh, you could have
I should have
snapped
snapped
back.
back. Yeah, I should have snapped back. I lost 4 cubes there. Too fast.
Victory.
But yeah, with this deck, you're not running a lot of points, so you gotta be creative. This was a great game to be creative with your deck.
Yeah. Let's get back out of this hole. I just think there's, I still, if there's going to be a lot of Galactus, the other card I want to try, I was thinking of trying is Grandmaster. I really want to play that against I want to send a Goblin back. So bad.
Or you can play Odin as well.
Yeah, Odin's good. It's like, maybe with Super Giant, it's a much better card, right? But I love how flexible Grandmaster could be, but it doesn't work on a lot of my other cards. So I'm sorry, I missed what they got discarded.
They discarded Darkhawk.
Oh, okay. So we wait. Well, this is a tough decision, but I think I pass here.
No,
Let's
you
see,
need-
Darkhawk, what does it use? Shadow King, maybe. Shadow King Center, I guess.
No, Shadow
gonna
King is
quake.
great on Stark Tower. Because it resets
Yeah,
everything.
that's what I said. Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
see
I
what
mean-
you're saying.
Yeah, later. I would just drop Quake, to be honest.
See, I would wait quick for the storm.
Yeah, but I mean, you can, but it's. I would just drop Quake left, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Because they're likely to play middle, And if by any chance it's a bad location to the right, you just give it to them.
Worked out. I guess this is no fun. I think it's storm left. They're gonna play left, maybe. So storm center gives them.
I would storm right.
See, quantum tunnel is really good at getting yourself out of trouble.
Yeah, it's really good at getting yourself out of trouble, except it's a Darkhawk deck. There are gonna be rocks in your deck.
Aid my hand.
Face the might of Asgard.
You need to use the information available.
I should have, you know. All right, so I guess we.
Yeah, we win the
We're
round.
not gonna,
Or even as well. We don't care about the left. Oh, if you want, but
well, we're gonna if we're thinking of Shadow King there, maybe. We'll see. Oh, okay. So we win the right. That's good. Now we just need priority.
where do you think they're gonna play? Left or right? Left or middle?
Well, I don't know if they're running. They're going to play left because they're going to want the points.
Then if they're gonna play left, you play your 2 cards middle. You said you want priority.
That makes sense. Oh, I was wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. They restore at this point.
Oh, there was no way you had priority. Oh wait, yeah, if you played both left, you would have had priority.
All systems go.
Oh well.
But the problem is then you still would have lost to the hammer in the middle.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're done.
Yep, that's fine. You got 4 cubes the last game. Win some, lose some.
They didn't snap.
Escape.
They probably should have snapped sooner. But
Well, the good thing with your deck is it's not that easy to snap against because they don't know what's going on.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's a very fun deck.
Yeah. Not for long. Can you get ready? This is probably gonna be the last game, so then we can move on to you.
Absolutely.
Are you good on the list, or do you need me to send you the list again?
I was quickly thinking with the hot location, Darkhawk might not be the best deck. Would it be fine if we try Loki? I'm fine on the list too.
Of course.
All right, awesome.
I mean, otherwise we can try it in Conquest. We have time for a full Conquest. Okay.
Oh, sure. That sounds fine.
As you
Either
wish.
or.
I'm fine with testing Loki. I'm fine with taking the other one in Conquest. As you wish.
All
Okay,
right.
so we have Ant-Man. We have normal deck. So could be Swan. Could be Omega Red.
Well, you see Ant-Man, so you should be thinking ongoing. There's one
Right.
thing you want against an ongoing deck.
Echo.
No, priority, so Echo lands.
Party. Yeah. Yeah. The question is, where do we land it?
It doesn't matter. First thing is get priority. Raven should go in the middle. Because this is where you're likely to move cards at the end of the game.
This is bad. This is horrible priority today. Not good.
Oop. Do we just slam Echo, or do we slam Shadow King? I don't think Shadow King is really good against ongoing. Because you don't cancel their points because they come from ongoing
Right.
abilities. So then you can slam Shadow King. But if you want
Second,
priority,
right?
you need to slam it right.
Yeah. All of my priority cards have not been drawn, which is really unfortunate.
What? Ant-Man armor.
Gosh, I wish I had my Killmonger. All right, so Supergiant gets me, holds that down, gets me a 7. Doesn't win anything for priority.
you're not gonna get priority anyway.
Yeah.
But good thing it's a bot.
Yeah. Maybe we win. Let's see. Okay. Well, we got Jeff too. That's nice. We could possibly vault lock.
Well, no, because it's not gonna reveal.
Oh, you're right. Duh, because it's super giant. Oops.
Also, going Volt Lock when you're already losing 2 lanes sounds extremely bad.
We could try setting up a Shang-Chi here.
I would Legion. Just for points.
Mm-hmm.
No, you still play it on the Volt because you still want to win it.
Oh.
But it's not because you Volt Lock, it's just because that's the best way you win that location.
Okay. Oh, there you are. So Alioth is out. Echo is going to reveal late. So it's probably Jeff Silk.
Well, might as well Shang-Chi Silk. It's the same thing except you have an ability that maybe wins you the game.
So there we go. Let's see. Okay. So we have right.
We're gonna win, don't worry.
Yeah, we got points.
Alright, well that's not the best game to end up
Example.
on, but yeah, I think it's pretty clear that I think your deck lacks a bit of early game punch.
Well, yeah. So I'll try with, if the Echo is out. The other thing is maybe Tatiana sometimes is good for early punch too, as a 1-drop.
Mortier is better. Because Mortier is also
Mortier.
really good with Super Giant because he doesn't move.
Oh, okay. That's a good. Okay, good to know. All right. I'll stop sharing.
Alright, not for long. Are we ready?
Yep, we're good.
Alright, what are we doing?
I guess let's play some Conquest.
Play some Conquest. The good thing is the deck got the exact same list in Conquest and Ranked.
Oh, wonderful.
The problem is, out of the good cards archetype, it was the worst one in Conquest. But we'll see why. Because it was the high cube rate but low win rate deck.
Okay. Well, we'll see if we can make it high win rate today.
Let's go.
All right. Oh, screen should be shared.
We're good.
All right.
We're
So
looking
my
good.
first question is: you went a little bit over in Spider Ham, but are you playing it pretty much as soon, at least in the blind, as soon as you can?
If there's Korg, like because the only choice is Korg or Spider Ham, I might favor Korg if I'm against the Lockjaw archetype because the rock can be very, very valuable. Otherwise, I will judge based on what's happening in the game. Like if the opponent has been playing every turn, then it means they probably have a nice hand, so I'd rather disrupt their hand. If the opponent has been pretty passive, might as well try to give them a bad draw anyway.
So the question is, are you, I guess this is exactly the example I was looking for. Are you just jamming Spider Ham here?
I am playing Spider Ham for sure. The question is which location. Do we have ways to reach unplayables in this?
Jeff at best. So not really.
Then I would play it
So
middle.
I'll take my ham.
Yeah, but middle.
Oh,
still play right next turn. That's a terrible target.
Yep. Squirrels. I mean, might as well.
Also because you want to fill that because Hood might indicate a Nihilus. And you can always move Jeff. It prevents you from getting a nihilist, and you can still move Jeff.
Okay. Oh, cards can't be destroyed, so that's good for my Annihilus. I like my Thor here.
So
Um.
this is where it's interesting with this, because you already have Dark Hawk.
Okay.
So you kind of know you want to play Rock Slide eventually. But you
Okay.
have no friends for Thor. The question is, do we play Thor? Because, I mean, if we draw a hammer, it's good. But we don't have the support. Or do we play Rock Slide because it's still early in the match and we already have Darkhawk in hand?
Okay. And would you just play Darkhawk?
I think I would still
Yeah.
play Rock Slide to the right because I can still jam Darkhawk to the right because they're Jeff. And that way
Well,
I don't have to think about it anymore for Annihilus.
okay. I was concerned about Mojo.
Yeah, but then if they like the idea is just protect from Annihilus and then last turn just move Jeff away, which denies Mojo. You don't have to play against it.
But are we winning the Mojo lane? 8.
5 against 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but your Darkhawk would win it. And also you have Silver Surfer, which buffs Rock Slide if you need to.
Okay, that makes sense. There's no reason not to, because we're probably doing some combination of 3s. Or are you feeling...
Nah, from the look of it, it's probably going to be Lizard plus a 3 into Silver Surfer plus a 3. The only question is, do you Darkhawk right now because you don't want to get it Shang-Chi? But I think you already win the right, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think you need to add anything to the right. And you also have Mr. Fantastic to help it.
Mr. Fantastic and Silver Surfer will probably be a pretty decent last turn.
So yeah, even if they Shang-Chi or Enchantress your Darkhawk, that's 4 energy they have to invest into it. It could be a snap. I don't mind it.
I mean, they do have a 15 power card coming next turn, or 13 or whatever Red Skull is at this point. 14? Sure. The one that I didn't say.
Well, you said high and low, so you get the average.
And Shang-Chi will be good. This is the Premier 2?
Yeah, but next turn we said double 3, so... I mean, Zabu is better than Lizard if you don't... Like, personally, I would Lizard left, and I don't think they're gonna get to 4 cards. Because I don't see what Zabu's gonna reduce in your hand. You're not gonna play 4s.
Okay. Thor is still the... Are you on... Because Monkey's gonna be a 3-4 at best, so Thor has the potential of being a 3-10.
Okay. Yeah, actually, drawing the hammer is really good because you play hammer and double 3, so that's great.
Ugh.
Oh, we didn't have Prio. That's annoying. But we're still good. Oh. That doesn't... Oh, it would work left. It doesn't work right.
Jeff, Fantastic Surfer. That's more points on the left.
Do we have...
Or is this just a
any
retreat?
Do we have any shot at winning middle? 4 plus
6, 7, 8, 9. We can get plus 9. We can tie.
That's fine. Tie is good enough. No, that's
well,
fine.
They're gonna play a 15 power card.
Yeah,
or
but
14.
They only play 1 card.
But they're gonna beat our tie.
We get plus 3, so we're at 9. We're at 11. And on the right, we are at 5 plus... We would be at 7, but they're at 6. We win by 1 on the left. Huh. Maybe we lose the tie. Yeah, maybe we lose it.
I think we should retreat.
Retreat. Later. Always later.
Oh, yeah. I just didn't want to not be able to click it. It was right there. Yeah, I'm just still doing the math. Because 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I guess we actually. There was a chance.
But yeah, wait, how do we get to 14 with only even numbers? Are you
Beta
sure we
ray
tied the
and.
middle?
Huh?
Are you sure we tied the middle? 'Cause-
Beta ray plus Jeff equals tie. That's what the line had to be.
No, because if we go, like, we had 5. Mr. Fantastic goes up to 6. No, goes up to 7. Silver Surfer gets us up to 9. Plus 4. No, we would have lost metal if we go Surfer Fantastic. We're at 13.
Yeah, no, we would have had the Beta ray build, and Jeff had to go in the middle.
Oh, and then we
Plus-
just lose left. And we can't
yes.
play Fantastic plus Better Ray, so we would have also lost right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
was okay. That was a good retreat. Yes, we established that Spider-Ham might not be great against them, but them drawing a bad card is good. So from what we saw, are we putting them on Shuri Soran or something else?
I mean, probably some sort of Shuri Annihilus deck.
I would Zabu left. Because you know they have
more
Enchantress.
points.
So at least get the point.
Okay. What are they doing?
I would take those. Yeah, for now it looks like Shuri Soran with junk. Like it's a mix of Shuri and junk. Ooh.
I think that's where I'm at in my head.
Wait. Where do we want to? We haven't seen Shang-Chi, so we're not gonna put them on Shang-Chi for now. I think I would Tor Metal.
You'd Thor Metal.
I mean, we're a Darkhawk deck. If we draw Darkhawk, we win right on the spot.
Okay, and Odin, Hammer will also be a pretty decent way to win right/middle with Miss Marvel.
Yeah, also that.
Okay.
The question is, how hard do we want to fight for left if they start fighting for it?
We have Shang-Chi. That's a good card, I've heard.
Well, they have armor.
Yeah, and we're gonna have priority for sure.
I would Spider-Ham Metal.
Middle as well.
Well, because
I mean, there's no reason not to Spider-Ham.
Yeah, we Spider-Ham for sure. But the reason why I Spider-Ham Metal is because you're probably gonna drop Jane Foster left or right next turn, not middle. So Spider-Ham, you play it where you least need the points, which is probably on Thor's Lane.
Okay.
Because virtually the left and the right are gonna get a +5, which is enough. So then next turn you just have to decide whether you go everything left, everything right, or spread.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I mean, it's a little late now, but what we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's a little annoying. Maybe. Okay. There's.
Oh, how many cards in their deck? We haven't shuffled, so Darkhawk is going to be an 8. Oh no, it's going to be a 6?
Well, Darkheart's going to be a 16.
No, because they're drawing next turn, but yeah. Oh wait, it's supposed to be a 6. Oh, but there's Nova Roma. Okay, so it canceled the core off.
This is a snap, right?
This is a snap.
I feel like...
So what if they Annihilus you? They give you Hood, which we don't really care about.
No.
I mean, we have 2 really good 6s. We have Hammer Odin and we have Shang-Chi Darkhawk. The only thing is, if they have a Red Skull or something like this, they're likely gonna play it left. So we're still gonna have Prio, so your Shang-Chi is not gonna be very useful.
I mean, is this just a better play?
I would still play it left. Because
Okay.
it's a better play if they have exactly Red Skull left. But if they don't, you force them to contest left.
Okay. It's vision.
Yeah, but that's not so bad because if they move it, we're okay. You have Prio, so no, it's
definitely
I don't know. Well, first, if we do it, we're gonna
definitely
do it the
not
other
that
way.
order, but
let's think about it. Let's think. We have time. So
well, Annihilus is 9 here.
Annihilus is terrible because we have 13.
Oh yes.
Yeah, there's the Miss Marvel buff.
So they have plus 10. Somewhere they can do plus 19. We haven't seen Lizard. This is most definitely a Lizard deck.
It could be a Lizard Enchantress play in the middle. But if they do this, we win. Like, we beat Lizard Enchantress in the middle. If they move Vision, they have to play something to replace, otherwise we win left. I like this. This puts us ahead on every lane, and we beat Enchantress middle, which is 4 of their energy, so it's going to be really hard for them to contest.
Okay.
They gave up. They're at what, 6? Yeah, that was good. 1 point off. That was enough. We didn't consider the Red Skull Demon. It's true, we didn't consider Demon being in their hand.
No, I don't think it made enough of it. I mean, clearly it didn't. But I think we were pretty far ahead with the Miss Marvel Odin.
We would have lost if they didn't move Vision and just Red Skull Demon right. Because that Red Skull was cancelled. No one going.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hey, those games. I would still play it middle.
Middle, yeah.
Oh, that's a good
That's
one.
a snap, right? I mean, I'll wait for the location to reveal.
Wait. Oh, wait. Yeah. Now that you have Thor, yes.
Yeah, this hand
because your hand was really bad until you drew Thor, which made it kind of nutty. Okay. I mean, Spider-Ham gave us a free cube. We'll take it. This is literally why I like the card. Sometimes Spider-Ham is just like, hey, I have a cube.
Sauron's their best card, though, right? Like,
I don't know. Against us, maybe Enchantress is even better. I think like Sauron is the most important card to their deck. But in the matchup, maybe Enchantress is even better for us.
So far with this hand, your Thor Beta Ray Bill, ignore Rock Slide.
So far,
in the hopes of drawing.
So far, yes. Definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
Wait.
Is
yeah, like because no, I play Thor. I'm asking myself, do I snap? Because Quantum Tunnel means you draw a hammer, you go nuts.
That's where I'm at too. That sounds right because we're gonna get Beta Ray Bill middle, and Beta Ray Bill twice is 24.
You could wait a turn. Because if they play Sauron, it could be a contested game. But if they don't play Sauron, I'm 99% snapping them next turn.
Okay. I mean, we might as well.
Like, their best card is on turn 3. So I could wait a turn. But if they're not playing Sauron, I'm probably snapping them on 4.
But even then, okay, we definitely are. But I'm just thinking with Beta Ray Bill, because they're gonna try to No?
Do we battery build metal?
It
12 doesn't beat Red Skull, but I think it beats everything else. The question is,
24.
because you can still win left. Yeah, that's
win
fine.
left.
Well, I mean, +3 energy, I'll take it. That's a good deal.
So are you more on
No,
this
no, because
train?
you can still get it next turn, even if you play better Rabiel in the middle, because we have Spider Ham.
Oh, okay. And
So
what
next
you would
turn we
Spider
can still
Ham
like
Miss
Marvel Spider Ham or Slide Spider Ham, or
Okay.
just draw a hammer.
That's Shuri.
Wait. Because Stormbreaker Odin makes better Rabiel 24. Oh, that doesn't beat.
28.
Huh. But the question is, do we play it or do we wait to see if it is indeed Red Skull?
Well, I guess my plan here was something that looked like this in some capacity.
Yeah, but
To
then
get
you
my
would
Jane,
you want to reverse the way
the
you're
Rock
hoarding.
Slide and Ham.
At least. The question is, would you rather get Rockslide or Stormbreaker? And I think we'd rather get Stormbreaker a second time. But yes.
Yeah, absolutely, because we can Odin, worst comes to worst, and most 100% win this middle lane. And
well, we're sitting on 3 energy, but Quantum Tunnel could get us more than 3 energy depending on what we pull, so it's not unreasonable to do it this way.
we also have a chance to draw Jane. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to do it.
I like this one. This one seems exciting.
Oh,
cool.
That's nasty. We went from exciting to nasty, and I like it.
And they have rocks.
Yes.
Oh, and a Darkhawk. That's cool.
Yeah, so Quantum Tunnel is... Oh my god!
And their Taskmaster.
Can you snap a second
time?
No.
Oh, and we have priority.
Everything middle.
Everything middle?
No, Jeff.
We don't need
No.
anything.
I was gonna go...
Because our data rate bill is going to get doubled well past... It's going to be 24...
Oh, you mean this way? Yeah, we have
50.
Prio anyway. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
And this way we can hit both of our hammers.
I mean, I wasn't really concerned about Tor. It becomes a 16, and I don't think we can lose right anyway. But yeah, that's a fine way to do it. I don't think they stay, to be honest. I would never stay in there.
Oh, nice Shuri.
I mean, at the moment you got Jane Foster, there was no reason for them to stay. Because they invested 90% of their game plan into winning Throne Room, and Jane Foster tells them, you're not winning Throne Room.
And so your play, was everything middle instead?
I would have just left Jeff on the left and played Odin double hammer middle. Which doesn't change anything. But the thing is, their vision is a 16, so they need to move vision to the right, plus take the Quantum Tunnel chance to win it, while Thor on the left is still a 16 power. So we still have 19 on the left with them having hood. So the only thing I do is I play on the armor lane because it's safer, but in this case it didn't change a thing.
I guess safer in this specific matchup, how?
Yeah, that's why. It's just a reflex when the only thing that loses me the game is Alioth. I play on the armor lane, but we had priority. I mean, we had 100% with your play or my play, I'm pretty sure. Zabu is one card that you could say you don't want to play on a non-reveal, just in case it's the no ongoings. But otherwise, it doesn't make much of a difference.
Okay.
And the thing is, even if it's the no ongoing effect, you still have Tor next turn, so you don't even care that much.
That's actually probably good.
Yeah, I would play Tor on the right. I wouldn't bank on Tor winning Throne Room against their deck. Better Rabiel I would, Tor I wouldn't. Because even Tor at double Mjolnir is still 16, which still loses to Shuri, Like it ties Shuri Vision and it loses to Shuri Red Skull.
Oh, that's probably good. But was there an argument to just play left?
You could have played it
Thor
left as
left
well. I would
to
have like.
toss priority?
Do we want to?
Because we have Shang and they didn't play armor on 2. Do you want to play middle?
No, because I want to toss priority.
I mean, we can't play it right because we play Miss Marvel. I mean, we can, but
No, I would play left.
what is this? This is
Probably Shuri. Sentry.
Can I block an Annihilus?
No.
No. So I'm going to just ignore that.
You're just gonna Jane Foster. Or right.
Well, they didn't.
You could Jane Foster right because it with the hammer and Miss Marvel buff, because the void is a 4. Like the hammer plus the Miss Marvel buff still gets you on the right. Like you're still
Plus
competing
Shang.
on the right.
Yeah. Is this a snap? They didn't play armor. So my Shang is on with Sentry. So this.
The only thing is, if they have priority
Hammer.
on turn 6, they could go for a 4+ armor. I don't know what good force they have apart from Enchantress.
I think it's just Enchantress, and even with Enchantress, that's 13, and this is
then go
13.
For it. Yeah, I think it's reasonable. It's not like 100%. But, oh, okay, cool. We'll take it.
Yeah, it is 100%.
We will take it. How much health do we have? 6?
6 versus 3.
Okay. So it's not necessarily an auto snap because they need to beat us 3 times if we are at 2, and they only need to beat us 2 times if we're at 3. So because sometimes people say it's auto snap when your opponent has 3 health, but when you're at 6, if they beat you, you actually give them a game.
Okay, that actually makes sense. I saw someone do the math. I don't have that math wherever that is, but
honestly, it's really easy to do on the spot.
Cable's a card.
I wouldn't.
Oh,
I don't
card.
hate Cable.
But Thor's most definitely better than Cable.
I mean, we have Jane Foster.
Yeah, Jane Foster, Thor, Odin.
Yep.
I'm at least staying for 3. Like, what 6s? We haven't seen any 6s yet. But this is probably okay. I mean,
I could imagine them playing maybe Blob, but not more than that.
Oh, they're done. Okay.
Okay, can we snap them back? Yeah, Beta Ray Bill on the camp. We haven't seen Shang-Chi, but just in case.
Yes, I'm just trying to. Are we winning Alter at all? Possibly. Jeff are out.
I mean, it's theirs as
they
well.
have Vision. Oh, that's our Stormbreaker.
Well, then you could play that on Alter.
I think I want to Odin it.
Okay.
I mean, my idea is Jane right, Jane left, and then middle Stormbreaker, whatever Mjolnir, Odin, middle.
Because that Stormbreaker. So that Stormbreaker in the middle is the 13. Instead of 2 energy. Okay. I mean, we don't have to do it. We still have a turn to decide, so we don't have to play it right now anyway.
I mean, that's all our space too, minus 1 spot.
Yeah, but I mean, we can decide next turn. Because the 2 energy, whether we get them on turn 6 or 5, it doesn't change too much. Okay, yeah, definitely this double Stormbreaker is looking better and better.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh no, we can't play Jeff in time.
Well, we could play Jeff Rockslide and just say we don't need left, because like the question is basically what's most likely? Because our plan right now is we're gonna win middle. We're just gonna brute force our way through middle. So we have to assume we win middle. Now the question is, what's more likely? Winning left or winning right? Like, is
Left.
Jeff
They're gonna-
now into
Left is-
Altar of Death move more likely to win than your Jane Foster on the left?
Well, if
They
they play
have vision, right?
or Century, we lose right. Just 100%.
If they sentry into Annihilus?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they need sentry now. Okay, yeah, I'm not saying we need to play Jeff. I'm just saying this is the math we should make. I agree that I wouldn't play Jeff. Also because, as Bishop said, they're playing Vision.
Yeah, their Vision or Sentry are the two options that win versus
Yep.
Jeff is just too small.
I'm not
But
saying
I'll take-
it was a good idea. I'm just saying this is a consideration because basically we're trying to win middle +1, and what's the best one for that +1?
Does hammer order matter in the slightest?
So yeah, just so better
You
radio
beat-
is gonna be a 24, 25. Wait, we have 30. Oh, we're at 33. Perfect.
Right. But if do you win the tie?
What tie? We have 33.
I mean, no, but if they only go one lane each way, do you win on the left as well? Do you beat the left lane enough that
Well,
if you're only winning by 1 point on the right, are you going to be high enough on the left?
the left gets +12.
12,
So it's 26.
26? But,
So we beat
but their
Taskmaster
vision.
left. Taskmaster left, we get 25.
Okay.
And it doesn't. I mean, this is our most points play,
And yeah,
and we can't retreat.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
Doesn't matter, I guess.
wait, we don't. There was one. Oh, okay, they did this way.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
So
does that
I-
change our?
we're gonna lose the tie. For sure.
Was there a play that won this?
The Jeff play on turn 5 to win, right? But we didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
Wait, we can stay on
What
that
did you win?
screen and
20?
discuss it because before you
27 versus 20. Yeah.
because you press play, but there was another play which was Shang-Chi left and no Odin. But
Would that win though? I mean, even if they played Taskmaster left, that
well, we would
doesn't.
have had 23 instead of 26. So
Would we have? Because we only have one Stormbreaker trigger. So it'd be 13.
I mean, on the left.
Oh, on the left?
I was trying to count left. But yeah, no, they played this very well. Like, the only way we had to win was to go the Jeff line, which at the time we considered it was lower percentage than this. They just played it very well.
Okay. Ugh.
Well, if we get the rocks, that's really good. And if armor doesn't fall down, I don't mind. I mind.
I mean, we have to throw priority, right? There's. And somehow
Well, the good thing
Shane
is
lanes.
your hand is really good to throw priority anyway.
it's almost like auto throwing priority for you.
If you wanted to not throw priority, you couldn't.
We're retreating if they do anything, right?
At this point, yes.
I mean, that's the best play, but there's no way we're.
Jane Foster.
Unless they don't Shuri. If they don't Shuri.
I mean, they didn't snap, so for now we're chilling. Well, chilling would be a big word. We're staying.
2 hammers is a lot of hammers, and
you could kill the. You could have killed the hood.
what do I got? Ooh.
Okay, that's really good.
What's that information?
Is it stack left? That's a hammer.
Wait.
I mean, we don't.
So
We also don't need. If we Molnir,
It's plus 12.
Shang?
Yeah, that's what I'm considering.
Because if we play them both here, it's like just playing it on Odin.
Yeah, if you both Mjolnir here, you get plus 24 on your Tor.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, what is this? This is Century.
Oh my god, I want the Void to move middle so much because we just block it with double Mjolnir. Their Sentry in the middle is really bad.
I mean, we can block both of those voids, and there's actually no way we don't win here.
Wait, yeah, but do you win middle? Oh, because you do it this way. Okay. So let's
yeah, right? That's...
Wait. We got time. So that's plus 24, right? So the middle, we would be at 29. 16 on the left. They already played the demon, so the best they can do is a Nihilus plus a bad card.
0. Oh no, 0's gone. Ebony Maw can't be played because Sauron never was played.
Yeah, I think that looks like checkmate to me.
Right?
Yeah.
Because our Thor is big enough. I did not count, but 6
It's
times 4 is...
2 hammers is 12. Odin makes it plus 24. They have 22.
Cool.
Wow.
Plus 5. Yeah, 20. So 29 to 20.
I mean,
Yep.
you just need to know the play is 24 in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, and so we're good.
They
24 in
haven't
the middle.
showed us any way to impact a location, and even if they played Miss Marvel, they can't because Pig and Demon can't counters, and Omega Red is not enough. Like, this play loses to Galactus
0,
Right.
But they don't play Miss Marvel anyways.
Yeah, I mean, this play loses to Galactus Right. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What? Wait, what?
I mean, it could be a Nihilus.
Nah,
I mean, it has to be. There's one card missing.
It's a Nihilus.
I want to be Galactus, so
I'll take
that
it on
looks
me.
so
If it's the case, I'll take it on me. It's a Nihilus.
okay. No, I mean, but that like, look how good he is. He came up with the one card that they held for like 6 rounds.
I will say that would be impressive to play Noah Nihilus and then to also play Galactus.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
Well, the deck
Awesome.
does go hard on points, but honestly, we had some really good hands, and I mean, we're on par with a Shiri Sauron. It's not like every game was contested points-wise. But like, for example, Shang-Chi, a lot of the times, I felt like it was too expensive. Maybe in this deck, I would like Shadow King rather than Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're... I'm feeling the Darkhawk package didn't... And we had a small sample size, but
well, we
it didn't do anything meaningful ever.
What was it
during
because
any of this?
The question is, was it because we drew it and didn't play it, or was it because we didn't draw it? Because there was a game where Darkhawk would single-handedly win a game. It's just they entrenched it.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's fair.
But for example, right now, like, good cards has always like Darkhawk plus another one. I'm curious to see what would happen if instead of playing Darkhawk, we would mix Junk plus Hammer.
Right, there's enough spots.
I mean, little Darkhawk and Annihilus are the same spot. It's 3 for 3. And that's almost, well, it's not the same. It's 1 for 5 instead of 1 3 4. But then Annihilus and Jane Foster kind of collide. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a big concern because you want to play, at least with the Darkhawk package, you can play Thor, Darkhawk, or even Zabu, Darkhawk.
Yeah, and also
Jane Foster.
Odin can retrigger rocks. Like, can retrigger Korg and rock slide. Well, we still won. And that took much longer than anticipated, but that was a cool match. But yeah, on this note, I'll close the YouTube video as usual. Thanks for those who came up until this point. If you have any questions, if you want to discuss, you can find everyone from the session on the Discord, or try to check the comments at least once a week. So feel free to leave one if there's anything you need. Bye-bye, YouTube.